You are not an introvert. You are not shy. You are not antisocial. You are not broken. You are socially exhausted. And there is a difference so profound that confusing the two has cost you years of misunderstanding yourself. Let me describe you. You walk into a room, and within seconds, you are calculating who needs what from you, who expects which version of you. You become a translator of energy, a reader of micro-expressions, a builder of bridges you did not ask to construct. You laugh at the right moments. You ask the right questions. You mirror their enthusiasm. And when you leave, when you finally close the door behind you, you do not feel energized. You feel like you have been holding your breath underwater for hours. That is not introversion. That is armor fatigue. Most people think social exhaustion is about preferring books over parties or needing alone time to recharge. But what you experience goes deeper. You are not avoiding people because you dislike them. You are avoiding the performance, the constant translation of your inner world into something digestible for others, the splitting of yourself into 1,000 microversions, each one designed to make someone else comfortable. You have been doing this since childhood. The origin, when safety became a script. There was a moment in your early life when you learned a devastating lesson. Your natural self was not enough. Maybe you were too loud and got punished for it. Maybe you were too quiet and got ignored. Maybe you expressed joy and someone mocked it. Maybe you cried and someone told you to stop being dramatic. The details differ, but the conclusion was the same. Your authentic emotional expression was a liability. So you adapted. You built what psychologists call a social persona, a carefully constructed self designed not to reflect who you are, but to predict what others need. You became a student of faces, tones, atmospheres. You learned to scan a room the way a soldier scans a battlefield. Threat assessment, emotional landmines, safe zones. This was not a choice. This was survival. Children who grow up in emotionally unpredictable environments develop what is called hypervigilance. Your nervous system learned to stay on high alert, constantly monitoring the emotional weather of everyone around you. Not because you wanted to, but because your safety depended on it. If you could predict the anger, the disappointment, the rejection, you could avoid it. You could shape-shift just enough to stay safe. But here is the trap. That skill, that beautiful, exhausting skill, never turned off. The mask, why you cannot just be yourself. People tell you to just be yourself, as if it is that simple, as if you have not spent decades building an entire architecture of selves, each one load-bearing, each one necessary. You have the work self, the friend self, the family self, the stranger self, and beneath all of them, barely breathing, the real you. The one who is too much or not enough. The one who does not know how to exist in a room without interpreting it first. This is not deception. This is not fake. This is what Jung called the persona, the social mask we all wear. But for you, the mask is not a choice. It is a reflex. It is the only way you know how to be safe. And it is killing you. Because every interaction requires code switching. Every conversation demands that you assess, adjust, perform. You are not listening to what someone is saying. You are listening to what they need to hear. You are not sharing your thoughts. You are calculating which thoughts are safe to share. You are not present. You are 3 steps ahead, managing impressions, building emotional scaffolding for others to climb. This is called emotional labor, and you have been doing it for free, for everyone, for your entire life. The exhaustion you feel is not from people. It is from the constant translation, the never-ending performance, the weight of holding up a version of yourself that was designed to make others comfortable while your real self suffocates beneath it. The conflict, the battle between connection and survival. Here is the paradox. You crave connection, deeply, desperately. You want to be seen, understood, known. But the very thing you want terrifies you. Because to be truly seen means lowering the mask. And lowering the mask means risking the exact rejection you have spent your life avoiding. So you do something fascinating. You connect, but only halfway. You let people in, but only to the lobby. You share, but only the curated parts. You laugh, you listen, you care, but you never fully arrive. You never fully trust that your unedited self would be enough. This is what creates the exhaustion, not the socializing itself, but the constant withholding, the perpetual monitoring, the split attention between what you are saying and what you are hiding. You are never fully in the moment because part of you is always standing guard, making sure the real you does not slip out. Neuroscience backs this up. When you are in a state of social performance, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for executive function, is working overtime. It is managing impulses, filtering thoughts, predicting outcomes. Meanwhile, your amygdala, your threat detection system, is scanning for danger. This is not relaxation. This is a low-grade stress response. Your body is in survival mode, even at a birthday party, and your body knows. Even when your mind tells you everything is fine, your nervous system is keeping score. The tightness in your chest, the exhaustion that does not match the activity, the need to disappear for days after a single social event. These are not character flaws. These are biological signals. Your body is telling you that it has been in protection mode for too long. The reframing: you are not weak. You are overloaded. Society has told you that if socializing drains you, something is wrong with you. You are too sensitive, too neurotic, too difficult. But let me reframe this entirely. You are not drained because you are weak. You are drained because you are doing the emotional work of 10 people. Think about it. In most social interactions, there is one person managing the flow, reading the room, adjusting tone, filling awkward silences, asking questions, making others feel seen. That person is you, not because you are controlling, but because you are compensating. You are holding space for people who do not even realize space is being held. This is what psychologists call high-functioning sensitivity. You have an unusually high capacity for emotional perception. You feel the shifts in energy that others miss. You notice the person in the corner who is not talking. You sense when someone is lying about being fine. You absorb the unspoken tension in a room and instinctively try to neutralize it. This is not a disorder. This is a gift that has been weaponized against you, because nobody taught you how to turn it off. Nobody taught you that you do not owe the world your constant emotional availability. Nobody taught you that sometimes the most radical thing you can do is stop managing everyone else and just exist. The shadow, what you hide behind the smile. Let me tell you what you do not say out loud. You resent them sometimes. The people who drain you, the ones who talk endlessly about themselves and never ask about you, the ones who treat you like an emotional dumping ground and then disappear when you need support. You resent them, and then you feel guilty for resenting them, because you are supposed to be kind. You are supposed to be understanding. But resentment is not cruelty. Resentment is a boundary trying to be born. You also envy them, the people who seem to move through the world without this weight. The ones who can be loud, messy, selfish, and somehow still be loved. The ones who do not apologize for taking up space. You watch them and think, how do they do that? How do they exist without constantly editing themselves? And beneath the envy is a quiet, aching question. If I stopped performing, would anyone still want me? This is the core wound. The belief that your worth is tied to your utility. That love is something you earn through service, through accommodation, through making yourself smaller. You learned early that the way to be valued is to be useful. So you became indispensable. You became the one people call when they need something. The reliable one, the thoughtful one, the one who always shows up. But nobody taught you that love is not a transaction, that you do not have to justify your existence by making others comfortable. That being difficult, messy, or unavailable does not make you unworthy of connection. The science. Your nervous system is not lying to you. There is a concept in psychology called the window of tolerance. It is the zone in which your nervous system can process stress without becoming overwhelmed. For most people, this window is relatively wide. They can handle conflict, crowds, stimulation, and still feel regulated. For you, the window is narrow, not because you are fragile, but because your system is already running background programs most people do not have. You are constantly monitoring emotional data, adjusting, predicting, protecting. This is called neuroception, a term coined by Dr. Stephen Porges. It is your nervous system scanning the environment for cues of safety or danger, often below conscious awareness. And if you grew up in an environment where emotional danger was unpredictable, your neuroception is set to high sensitivity. This means you are picking up signals others miss. A slight change in tone, a facial expression that does not match the words, a shift in energy. Your system is processing all of this in real time, and it is exhausting. Add to this the concept of social baseline theory, which suggests that humans regulate their nervous systems through connection with others. But here is the twist. If your early relationships were sources of dysregulation, chaos, criticism, then connection does not soothe you. It activates you. It puts you on alert. So while others find socializing energizing, you find it depleting. Not because you are broken, but because your system has learned that people are unpredictable. And unpredictability requires vigilance. The armor, how you protect yourself without realizing it. You have developed strategies. Beautiful, brilliant, unconscious strategies to protect yourself from the overwhelm. You overcome it and then cancel. You say yes to everything and then ghost. Not because you are flaky, but because in the moment of agreeing, you genuinely believed you could do it. You wanted to be the person who could. But when the time comes, the weight of the performance is too much, and retreat is the only option. You sabotage plans. You pick fights before gatherings. You get sick at convenient times. Not consciously, but your body knows. Your body creates an out when your mind cannot. You disappear. You go silent for days, weeks, months. Not because you do not care, but because you need to shed every version of yourself you have been performing and remember who you actually are underneath it all. These are not failures. These are survival mechanisms. Your psyche is trying to protect you from complete burnout. The problem is not the strategies. The problem is that you have been using them for so long. You think they are personality traits. You think you are inconsistent, unreliable, broken. You are not. You are under-resourced and overextended. The bridge, why you are drawn to people who cannot see you here, is something you may not want to hear. You are attracted to relationships that replicate the original wound. Not because you are self-destructive, but because they feel familiar. They feel like home. You choose people who need you, but do not know you. People who take your emotional labor and do not reciprocate. People who love the version of you that serves them, but would not recognize the real you if it stood in front of them. Why? Because if they do not truly see you, they cannot truly reject you. This is called a repetition compulsion. You recreate the dynamics of your early life, hoping this time it will turn out differently. This time, if you are good enough, helpful enough, accommodating enough, you will finally be chosen. You will finally be enough. But you already are. The people who only want the performed version of you are not your people. The friendships that only survive as long as you stay small are not real friendships. The relationships that drain you are not love. They are reenactments. And you can stop auditioning. The philosophical anchor, Nietzsche and the burden of the self. Nietzsche wrote about the concept of eternal recurrence. The idea that if you had to live your exact life over and over again, infinitely, would you choose it? Would the life you are living now be one you would willingly repeat forever? For you, the answer is probably no, because you are not living your life. You are living a curated performance of a life designed to meet the expectations of people who may not even know what they are asking of you. Nietzsche also spoke of the Übermensch, the person who creates their own values instead of inheriting them from society. You have been living according to inherited values. Be nice. Be helpful. Do not be too much. Do not take up space. These are not your truths. These are survival scripts. The radical act, the truly courageous act, is to stop performing and start existing. To stop translating yourself into something palatable and start speaking your native language, even if no one understands it at first. The practical insight, the difference between solitude and isolation. You need alone time. Not because you are antisocial, but because solitude is where you stop performing. It is where you stop code switching. It is where the real you gets to breathe. But there is a difference between restorative solitude and protective isolation. Restorative solitude is chosen. It is intentional. It is the space where you reconnect with yourself, process your experiences, and remember who you are beneath the roles. Protective isolation is a defense. It is the retreat into loneliness because connection feels too dangerous, too exhausting, too much. You have been living in protective isolation, disguised as introversion. You have been convincing yourself that you prefer to be alone, when the truth is, you are just too tired to keep pretending. And that is okay. That is human. But it is also a signal that something needs to change. The final realization, you do not owe the world a performance here, is the truth you have been avoiding. You are allowed to be difficult. You are allowed to be inconvenient. You are allowed to have needs, boundaries, bad days, and unfiltered thoughts. You are allowed to exist without making it easier for everyone else. The people who love you will not leave when you stop performing. They will finally meet you. And the ones who do leave were never loving you anyway. They were loving the service you provided. This is terrifying, I know, because it means risking the very rejection you have spent your life avoiding. It means showing up as you are and trusting that it is enough. It means believing that connection is possible without the armor. But the alternative is worse. The alternative is spending your entire life exhausted, drained, and unseen. The alternative is dying without ever knowing what it feels like to be fully, unapologetically yourself in the presence of another human being. You have been carrying the weight of everyone else for so long. You forgot what it feels like to be light, to be free, to be seen not for what you can do, but for who you are. The invitation, the experiment of authenticity. So here is the experiment, the terrifying, liberating experiment. Stop managing one interaction, just one. Let the silence be awkward. Let the conversation drift. Let someone be uncomfortable without rushing in to fix it. See what happens. Do not perform for one person, just one. Show up exactly as you are, tired, uncertain, filtered, and see if they stay. Say no without a reason, without an excuse, without softening it. Just no, and see if the world ends. It will feel wrong. It will feel selfish. It will feel like you are failing at being human. But you are not. You are practicing being real. And the people who can handle your reality, those are your people. The ones who stay when you stop performing, those are the ones worth keeping. The ones who love you without needing you to translate yourself, those are the ones who will see you. The question, which truth hit the hardest? Was it the realization that you have been performing your entire life? That your exhaustion is not weakness, but the natural result of doing everyone else's emotional labor? That the people you attract are often replicas of your original wound? Or was it the terrifying, freeing idea that you do not owe anyone a performance, and that love without labor is actually possible? Which truth made you pause? Because that is the one you need to sit with. That is the one asking to be seen. You are not socially exhausted because you are broken. You are socially exhausted because you are brilliant, sensitive, and over-functioning in a world that has taught you that your worth is conditional. It is not. You are always enough. You just forgot.